Soldiers of the 412th Nemesis regiment of the Unmanned Systems Forces under the Ukrainian army have intercepted and destroyed Russian army's fuel storage sites, equipment and material depots, and field ammunition stockpiles along the entire front line. The video footage of the operation carried out with drones at night has been published in Telegram channel of the regiment. The video shows Ukrainian drones targeting military equipment and facilities. It should be noted that Ukraine has scaled up missile and drone strikes on Russian strategic facilities in occupied territories and in Russian territory as well.
While the Kremlin is attempting to foster separatist entities in post-Soviet countries, separatism, the oppression of Russian speakers, and the erasure of Russian history are escalating within Russia itself. Some State Duma deputies rebelled against the Chechen authorities' decision to rename Cossack villages in the Republic. The issue concerns renaming the settlements of Cernovodskoye, Shelvoskaya, and Norskaya. Russian media cite a harsh statement from United Russia deputy Vladimir Shamanov, a veteran of 2 Chechen wars, who called the Chechen authorities' decision a direct attack on Russian history. Not only did you kick out the Russian-speaking population from there, now you're erasing the names. A member of Putin's party was indignant. He was supported by Deputy Sergei Obukhov from the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, emphasizing that the rejection of the name Norskaya erases the memory of the Cossacks who founded the village back in the 17th century. Despite criticism from a number of deputies, the bill passed its first reading. According to the document, Cernovodskoye is planned to be renamed Cernovodsk. Shelkovskaya will become Terek, and Norskaya will become Nevra, which means north in Chechen. Previously, Russian opposition media had repeatedly written about the separatism of Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov, who skillfully juggles Russian laws, turning various situations to his own advantage. Recently, The Times wrote that Putin perceived Kadyrov's mention of the succession of power in Chechnya as an attack on his authority. The conflict between the Kremlin and Chechnya, which has existed semi-openly for decades, is now resurfacing. The source of the tension is Ramzan Kadyrov's desire to groom his son, Adam, a teenager who is only 17, for power. Although Kadyrov has older children, Adam has become his chosen successor. According to The Times, Adam Kadyrov has been given several official positions in recent months, including the post of Secretary of the Chechen Security Council, a strategic role for governing the republic. In May, Ramzan Kadyrov met with Vladimir Putin. According to Al Jazeera, during a closed conversation, he allegedly directly proposed handing over power to Adam. However, the Kremlin rejected the idea. According to Professor Emil Aslan of Charles University in Prague, Moscow may be willing to maintain control of Chechnya in the hands of the Kadyrov clan, but it categorically does not support a teenager in the top post. The Kremlin's main priority is stability in the region, and Adam is not yet capable of guaranteeing it. Aslan believes Ukraine and the entire world are seeing instability growing not only on the front lines but also within Russia. A possible transition of power in Chechnya, especially if it occurs contrary to Moscow's position, could trigger a chain reaction of destabilization. Russia, having survived 2 Chechen wars, cannot afford a new round of tension in the Caucasus, especially against the backdrop of a protracted war against Ukraine. The Kremlin appears to have received a so-called final warning from NATO regarding the situation with provocations by Russian military aircraft near the alliance's borders. As Bloomberg reports, a tense meeting involving representatives of Great Britain, France and Germany took place in Moscow this week, at which the Allies announced to the Russian side NATO's readiness to shoot down Russian military aircraft that violate the agreement. European diplomats expressed concern over the violation of Estonian borders by Russian MiG-31 fighter jets last week. According to the agency's sources, diplomats emphasized that NATO is prepared to respond to repeated violations, including the possibility of using force, including downing Russian aircraft. For his part, the Russian representative made it clear that Russian air incursions into NATO territory were a response to Ukrainian attacks on Russian targets in occupied Crimea. He stated that these operations would not have been possible without support from the North Atlantic Alliance, the report states. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte supported US President Donald Trump's statement that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if necessary. The official told Fox News that the alliance's military is ready to carry out such tasks. We've known how to do this for over 40 to 50 years, ever since Soviet times, the Secretary General noted. According to Rutte, pilots must assess the situation in each specific case and decide on further action. This could be either simply escorting or other measures. Experts believe that NATO could also be hit as a result of retaliatory strikes. Recall on September the 25th, Russian military aircraft were again spotted near NATO borders, but were intercepted by Hungarian Air Force Gripen fighters. A violation of Alliance airspace was prevented. According to the North Atlantic Alliance's Joint Air Command, 5 Russian military aircraft, an Su-30, Su-35 and 3 MiG-31s were flying along the coast of Latvia towards Denmark, ignoring international safety regulations. 2 Hungarian Gripen fighters stationed at Šaulė Air Base in Lithuania were dispatched to meet them. After escorting the intruders and assessing the situation, they returned to base. No incursion into NATO airspace was permitted. It's noteworthy that the Russian aircraft were intercepted by fighter jets from Hungary, a country the Kremlin is using to destabilize the EU and divide allies by exploiting the differences between Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán's government and Brussels. However, today's episode demonstrated that despite all the political gamesmanship of the government in Budapest, Hungary is a NATO combat unit ready to fulfill its obligations to defend its allies, including from Russian threats. It should be noted that Russia has recently increased the number of aerial provocations near NATO borders, which is forcing allies to discuss radical responses to the actions of the aggressor country, including shooting down Russian aircraft flying into the territory of alliance countries.